Reports is a daily show that will cover issues surrounding the economic collapse. All our reports and daily alert news are backed up by source links. We work very hard to bring you the facts and we research everything before presenting the report. Subscribe for latest on financial crisis, oil price, global economic collapse, dollar collapse, gold, silver, Bitcoin, global reset, new world order, economic collapse, economic news, political, geopolitical news. Today, we talk about, the situation in the markets is much worse than you realize. It's about time that I share with you all a little secret. The situation in the markets is much worse than you realize. While that may sound like someone who has been crying wolf for the past several years, in all honesty, the public has no idea just how dire our present situation has become. The amount of debt, leverage, deceit, corruption, and fraud in the economic markets, financial system, and in the energy industry are off the charts. Unfortunately, the present condition is even much worse when we consider insider information. What do I mean by insider information? I will explain that in a minute. However, I receive a lot of comments on my site and emails stating that the US dollar is A-OK and our domestic oil industry will continue pumping out cheap oil for quite some time. They say, no need to worry. Business, as usual, will continue for the next 2 to 3 decades. I really wish that were true. Believe me, when I say this, I am not rooting for a collapse or breakdown of our economic and financial markets. However, the information, data, and facts that I have come across suggest that the US and global economy will hit a brick wall within the next few years. How I acquire my information, data and facts. To put out the original information in my articles and reports, I spend a great deal of time researching the internet on official websites, alternative media outlets, and various blogs. Some of the blogs that I read, I find more interesting information in the comment section than in the article. For example, the peakoilbarrel.com site is visited by a lot of engineers and geologists in the oil and gas industry. Their comments provide important on-hand insight in the energy sector not found on the mainstream media. I also have a lot of contacts in the various industries that either forward information via email or share during phone conversations. Some of the information that I receive from these contacts, I include in my articles and reports. However, there is a good bit of information that I can't share, because it was done with the understanding that I would not reveal the source or intelligence. Of course, some readers may find that a bit cryptic, but it's the truth. Individuals have contacted me from all over the world and in different levels of industry and business. Some people are the working staff who understand reality taking place in the plant or field, while others are higher-ranking officers. Even though I have been receiving this sort of contact for the past 4 to 5 years, the number has increased significantly over the past year and a half. If my readers and followers believe I am overly pessimistic or cynical, your hair will stand up on your neck if you knew just how bad the situation was behind the scenes. Unfortunately, we in the alternative media have been lobotomized to a certain degree due to the constant propaganda from the mainstream media and market intervention by the Fed and central banks. A perfect example of the massive market rigging is found in ZeraHedge's recent article, Central Banks Have Purchased $2 Trillion in Assets in 2017. So far in 2017 there has been $1.96 trillion of central bank purchases of financial assets in 2017 alone, as central bank balance sheets have grown by $11.26 trillion since Lehman to $15.6 trillion. What is interesting about the nearly $2 trillion in central bank purchases so far in 2017, is that the average for each year was only $1.5 trillion. We can plainly see that the central banks had to ramp up asset purchases as the Ponzi scheme seems to be getting out of hand. So, how bad is the current economic and financial situation in the world today? If we take a look at the chart in the next section, it may give you a clue. The death of Bear Stearns, a warning for things to come. It seems like a lot of people already forgot about the gut-wrenching 2008 to 2009 economic and financial crash. During the U.S. banking collapse, two of the country's largest investment banks, Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, went belly up. Lehman Brothers was founded in 1850 and Bear Stearns in 1923. In just 1 year, both of those top Wall Street investment banks ceased to exist. Now, during the 2001 to 2007 U.S. housing boom heyday, it seemed like virtually no one had a clue just how rotten of a company Bear Stearns had become. Looking at the chart below, we can see the incredible rise and fall of Bear Stearns, as Bear Stearns added more and more crappy MBS mortgage-backed securities to its portfolio, the company's share price rose towards the heavens. At the beginning of 2007 and the peak of the U.S. housing boom, Bear Stearns' stock price hit a record $171. Unfortunately, at some point, all highly leveraged garbage assets or Ponzi schemes come to an end. While the party life at Bear Stearns lasted for quite a while, death came suddenly. In just a little more than a year, Bear Stearns' stock fell to a mere $2, a staggering 98% decline. Of course, the financial networks and analysts were providing guidance and forecasts that Bear Stearns was a fine and healthy